What's going on, guys? So we're back with a new video, and in today's one we got an interesting topic regarding DayZ on Steam. Over the Christmas period, I went to check the Steam charts to see how many players were on different games. And while looking through the charts, I realized that DayZ had 40,000 players on it at the time when I was looking at it. Today, making this video, it's at 37,000. Still a lot of players. It's had high numbers like that a couple of times during the year, so I wasn't really surprised that it had that many players, but it was still a very, very nice thing to see. During Christmas Day, I was scrolling through Twitter and saw a tweet saying that Battlefield 2042's numbers were quite low on the Steam chart, so I was wanting to win and see it for myself and see actually where it was. And it turned out when I checked it that there was only 18,000 players on the game. The game is less than 10 weeks old and it only had 18,000 players on it, which is insane. Today, of recording this video as well, I've just checked it again and it is on 15,000 players, which is mind-blowing to think. A game that was so anticipated and has so much money put into it and there's so many devs working behind it has lower players than the game that just turned 8 years old a couple of weeks ago. For DayZ to have, 30 to 40,000 players on it and to be beating out one of the, what you could call one of the biggest FPS titles of the past decade, alongside Call of Duty, really tells you something about where the game is. Yes, DayZ has always had its problems, but over the past year, DayZ has changed in a ton of ways. Made bigger improvements, whether it be behind the scenes on the engine or in-game by adding new content and fixing stuff. It's still crazy to see, and it's still crazy to see where the game has come. Yes, it still does have, its certain bugs and problems in the game as well, but when you have a dev team that actually listens to the community when they make suggestions and puts them down on a list, and I know people will be saying like, oh, but they haven't added bows back and stuff like that. There's probably a reason we don't have bows back yet. They're probably waiting for a certain time to get bows back, but in general, when, making suggestions to the dev team and they actually take that feedback on board and then sometimes implement it or change things to make it for the better is really, really good to see. When you have, a billion-dollar company like EA and Battlefield in general who can't seem to make a proper game, have to delay it multiple times, and for it still to be pretty broken on release is pretty crazy. Yes, DayZ has had its flaws while in development as well, but at least the devs admit their mistakes in the past. It just shows that a game doesn't need to have these massive, $100-200 million budgets or dev teams that have hundreds and hundreds of people on them just to make a game. They're all great benefits to have while making a game, but at the end of the day, if your game isn't good and isn't solid, people are not going to play it no matter how much money or devs the game has invested into it. So for all the shit talking that people give the DayZ devs and all the hate they get on some updates, when you actually look at it and take a minute to look at it and realize that, wait, this is, pretty crazy that a game that just turned 8 years old has still got over twice as many players on it than the new Battlefield game does. It's pretty mind-boggling to think of. The next time you see DayZ come out with an update, whether it be, a fixing update or they add new content or they put out a new tweet, announcing something, before you tweet at them, think about your tweet, especially if it's going to be a hate one or, one where you're going to be giving out, and kind of think and ask and say to yourselves, maybe they don't deserve this hate right now because they're actually improving the game. They're sticking to this game. They could have left it years ago and said, we don't want to do it anymore. But they're still here making changes and making it for the better with every update that comes out. So I still think the devs deserve a lot more credit than they have been given. It is really, really crazy to see. Yes, DayZ is a unique game. Yes, Battlefield and DayZ are two completely different games as well, so you have to take that into consideration as well. But it's pretty mind-blowing to see. I don't think we would have ever have thought when DayZ would have released back whenever it was, 2012 or whatever it has been now, that we would see DayZ have more players on it than Battlefield. It's just mind-blowing to think of, and it's pretty cool thing. It's just something positive I wanted to put out there as kind of an end-of-the-year video to say that DayZ has, you could say it's hit another milestone by, passing over one of these games, and it's great to see. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below, and until then, I should catch you guys in the next video, so peace out for now.